Why do you want to sell high-ticket products, digital courses, coaching, consulting this year, 2023 and beyond? Hi, my name is Shakir Hussain. I'm the founder of funnels.com. I generated over $30 million before I turned 30 years old. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to selling high-ticket products and services. And the reason why I wanted to share this with you is because I was just having a conversation with someone who was super smart, super intelligent, a lot of different degrees, and they didn't understand this concept of high ticket marketing, right? This high ticket digital courses and whatnot. And really, in this year and the next, so I'm saying 2023, 2024, even 2025, you could push it till then. But really, in the next 12 to 24 months, you really want to position yourself with a lot of cash in your bank. So I've been around a lot of rich people, like Richard Branson to Tony Robbins. And let me tell you, one of the things that happened when I was at Tony Robbins' mastermind, it's like a $75,000 per person event. I remember him getting on stage and saying something like, "Winter is coming." And I was like, man, I came here to be motivated and be hyped up. Why is this Tony Robbins dude telling me that it's going to be winter is coming, recession is coming? Like, what the heck does that even mean? And I remember very clearly at the time, I was thinking to myself, okay, this guy seems a little bit off the rocker. I know he's off the rocker anyway, but let's just say he really sounded like he's off the rocker. But now you see recession signs, unemployment all over the world, all this crazy stuff. And I remember back in 2009, when I started internet marketing, I was around 21 years old. I used to do low ticket stuff. So I used to try to sell for stuff for like $37, $97, $100 here and there. And it was such a hard graft. Like, I just remember it was just painful. And then when I came across this concept of high ticket marketing, essentially selling results focused, transformation driven courses, coaching, consulting programs where someone is paying you for a specific result. So if I just said to you, hey, I'm going to help anyone and everyone generate leads. What does that even mean? Generate leads, get traffic. I'll help you get traffic from Instagram. It's lame, okay? Here's how you craft $1 million marketing message. I help CEOs, seven-figure entrepreneurs, create an extra 50 to 100 qualified booked calls per month. That offer sticks way more than, I help you generate leads. I help you generate leads. I help you get more traffic on Instagram. No one cares about those things. And the people that care are usually not the ideal target market that's going to pay you a premium amount of money. So in one of my brands, in one of my offers, we have this offer that is, hey, give me 90 days and I'll show you how to get to 10 to 30 high ticket clients every single month. So basically 10 clients at 5K a pop is basically 50 grand a month, or whatever the different price points is. Bottom line is this: it's focused on a specific outcome, okay? One of my clients is a health guy. He's got maybe 120,000 followers on Instagram, all organic, doesn't really do much paid ads. And his whole thing is, I'm gonna help you shed like 20 pounds of weight without essentially killing yourself doing cardio, right? Very specific, boom, boom, boom. And he only focuses on entrepreneurs and CEOs. So he's not looking to help just any Tom, Dick, and Harry, because I think he charges like 12 grand for his program on helping men shred weight, get into shape. The reason why I'm sharing high ticket information, if you don't have a lot of cash flow, then you do not want to waste and spend time focusing on the low end of your market. In every single market, there's always a group of people that are hyper-responsive buyers. They're premium clients. They like to spend money. They want to spend money. They have money. And instead of you trying to sell your gadget, your gimmick, your information program, your course, your passion, whatever, 50, 100 bucks, if you start to ask yourself, hey, how can I charge $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $50,000 for my products and services? And how can I deliver a 5x, 10x, 20x value and outcome that people would flock to come to us? So I've been selling different products and services. My own mastermind is $50,000. I've had around 220, 230 people join that mastermind. I mean, if you do the math, you'll figure out it's quite a lot of money, right? Yeah, not kidding, a lot of money. And why do they pay this? They pay because they want a specific end outcome that I can help them achieve. Why can I help them achieve that? Very simple, because I spent years of my life developing high income producing skills, such as copywriting, funnel building, such as learning how to do webinars, how to speak on stage, how to craft $1 million offers, how to do live events, how to do affiliate programs, how to scale to 7 figures, 8 figures, multiple 8 figures and beyond. And so when I share this with you, is to remind you and to myself that, hey, recession is coming. If you're not focused on serving a group of people, serve the high ticket end of the marketplace. Now, once you have X amount of cash saved up in the bank, whatever, and now you want to go back, and some of my friends in the industry, they're launching these, you're going to see this $7, $27 per month membership site, you know? And one of the reasons they're doing this is because they want to build as many buyers as possible so that they have a community of people that they can sell to over and over again. But here's the thing, if you don't have, 50K, 200K, 500K, $1 million cash saved, stashed away for yourself and your family to protect your loved ones and to have a cash buffer during this recession, this winter time that we're coming into, I'd strongly recommend make that your core focus, right? And maybe your goal is to get to $5 million cash. Like, who cares? Focus on what will make you happy. And I can tell you 95% of the time when I'm speaking to clients, it's basically you want more money, you want more cash in the bank. So focus on high ticket clients. Focus on delivering a premium service, charging a premium price, delivering a premium service so that they can get results and they can now refer others. Obviously do a great job with them, so now they can refer other people, and when they refer other people, now your business becomes a marketing flywheel, so your ad spend goes down, and now you can literally get customers for free. You can get customers because word of mouth is strong because you have a great product. Some of my core programs are so good that I don't even need to advertise. People literally, I just had a lady from Dallas, Texas, literally say to me, I've just heard about you and your programs, and I want to join your inner circle. How much is it? I said, $50,000. Boom. One wire, clean and simple. I think she spent 45 or 50, whatever she was, it's like 50 grand. Boom, one wire. And this happens over and over again. Like last week, my business generated 100K. One of the clients never, ever, ever, ever heard of me. Within a few days of getting to know what we do, boom, comes in, sends like $51,000 for a consulting program. Now, this is him just buying information, right? So what's the profit margin on something like this? So if you do not have a business where you are selling high ticket products, services, consulting, coaching, where you're able to take your experience, expertise, your life passions and package it up, promote it, position it, price it in a high ticket manner, then make a commitment to figure out how to do this in 2023. And if you want my help and my team's help, make sure you subscribe to these YouTube videos because I'm going to be making more videos like this. So what's the fastest, best business model or best income skill you can develop in 2023? Is it coaching, consulting, job shipping, digital marketing, real estate, agency, Shopify, Dropify? You know what I'm talking about, right? There's 101 things. Shopify doesn't exist, okay? Chill out, right? But here's the thing. Which one is the best? Everyone and the mom will tell you this one, that one. But what I'm going to share with you is none of them are the best. And here's why. You see, the most amazing, fastest way to create consistent revenue, predictable income over and over again is actually none of them. It's actually by mastering this one important skill of selling. And it's not just selling, it's selling one to many. This is the biggest breakthrough that I had back in 2009, 2010. Now today you have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all bombarding you, right? Back then, we would come on and there would be something called Warrior Forum. There'd be all these different forums. Almost none of those things exist today. Yahoo search was big and hot. MSN was hot. MySpace was just going down and Facebook was just coming up. And I remember very clearly, literally every single person I would speak to, they'd all say the same thing. They're overwhelmed, they're struggling to make money, they want to learn SEO, press release marketing, article spinning, all sorts of stuff that, people still, funny, 10, 13 years later, people still go through that, right? They still experience these challenges. And as I was talking to one of my students, I was telling him, you know what, the skill that really changed the game for me, helped me become the backpack millionaire, helped me travel to over 50 plus countries before I turned 30 years old, it was actually selling, but not selling like one-on-one selling or pushy selling, like, Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street kind of stuff. None of that. It wasn't none of that, right? So what was it? It was being able to sell from one to many. I'll give you an example. So when I first started learning selling, one, I absolutely hated it, right? Because like if I picked up the phone to sell someone, like the lead would be unqualified, they'd be broke, they'd have a really bad attitude, they wouldn't buy, I'd feel so bad. It was just like a big mess and I was very disheartened until I started learning and going through multiple sales programs. And I remember I actually did go through Jordan Belfort's Straight Line Persuasion. This was way before he even became famous, okay? He actually had really good sales training and it was called Straight Line Persuasion. I went through Mike Dillard's Black Belt Recruiting. I went through Brian Tracy's sales training programs. I went through all different sales training programs. And the thing that I learned was, one, being able to ask consultative questions and then sell based on questions versus based on trying to push your agenda down someone's throat. So that was one thing that I learned. The second thing I learned, which was, and this was such a game changer, which was instead of talking to people one-on-one, hey, do you want to buy my stuff? Hey, I've got this great opportunity. If I hosted webinars, VSLs, which stands for Video Sales Letter, if I created automated video presentations, if I created sales letters, long sales letters. These are letters that people would come and read, and they would read, and then they would make an educated decision onto doing business with us or not. When I shifted to that, the game changed. So how the game changed was I was doing this webinar, and at the time I had just learned how to build a list. So I started getting a few hundred, few thousand, and probably around 3,000 to 4,000 subscribers, email subscribers. I remember it was such a big deal. This was nearly a decade ago, right? And I remember hosting this webinar. So I want you to understand, I went from talking to people one-on-one. I would travel, I would get on the trains, the subway, the underground station, whatever. I would use public transport, go meet people, dress up, wear a suit, wear a shirt. I'd spend ages in coffee shops, in hotel lounges, in networking events, trying to sell people one-on-one. So on the side, I learned this thing, and my mentors at the time said, you need to build an email list, because if YouTube, if any of these social media platforms were to go away, you would still have your business because you have the ability to distribute your content, your ideas, your thoughts, your offers. So build an email list. And I thought, okay, this is really powerful. And so I focused literally a decade of my life building my email list, right? I've generated over 1.5 million email subscribers. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Let me rewind back. So I'm at around 3,000, 4,000 subscribers-ish. And one day someone says to me, hey, do you want to promote a webinar? Okay, now at that time, I had like done maybe 1 or 2 very simple webinars. There was maybe 10, 20 people on. It was just like, it wasn't my thing, right? Like, because I didn't know what to sell. I didn't have none of my own products. I was doing affiliate marketing. I was selling other people's stuff. But I was always focused on high ticket stuff that will give me a higher return on my money than my efforts and my time that I would spend on, right? So I wouldn't focus on $30 ClickBank products. I'd focus on $300 or $3,000 digital courses and programs to sell. And then what happened was, I remember there's a guy called John, and he had this big webinar that other people are promoting. And I was like, hey, John, can I promote your webinar? And so he goes, yeah. I start promoting his webinar, and I think I must have driven, I don't know, a couple of hundred people onto this one webinar that he was hosting. So remember, it wasn't my own product. It wasn't my own service. I wasn't doing any customer delivery, none of that. And that day, I remember I was flying over to Sydney, Australia, to a guy called James Tramco. He's one of my earliest mentors. This is James. James Tramco's event in Sydney, Australia. And I remember the first day I landed, it was like 4 a.m. or something. So I stayed up late night and I host this webinar, okay? By the end of the webinar, I generated a staggering $50,000. Like for me back then, that would have been like, I don't know, $1 million. So it was so much money. I just like remember it. It was so amazing. And the next day, we sent out a replay and we did like $58,000. And the guy that was hosting the webinar, he said, you need to send the email multiple times. I was like, okay, say no more. I'm going to email my list, you know, many times. And probably over a period of about 2 to 3 weeks, the sales had come in. We generated over $312,000. Okay, I think it was a little bit more than that, but it was over $312,000. And I just remember thinking to myself, wow, if all I did was just do one webinar every single month or a promotion like this, then I mean, it's game over. And I've stayed consistent with that, whether it's promoting my own webinars, my own offers, or other people's offers for over a decade, over 13 years. Almost every single month, we do promotions like this. Now, obviously, some of them go way better, some of them go way less. I'll tell you what happened. As soon as I saw the power in this, I asked myself, what would happen if I created my own webinar and I sold my own product, right? So I remember this young guy that used to work for me, he put this webinar together, and you know, we spent probably a week going back and forth, and I think we were gonna price the program at like $1,000, okay? And on the last minute, I come in, I change a few of the deliverables, what we're gonna offer the prospects, the people that are watching this, and I say to him, you know what? I'd rather get less people, but a higher price. And I literally just got on the slide deck, and I was like, $10,000. And I thought, man, if I make 5 or 10 sales in one day, it's game over. Can you imagine that? Right, like if you made 50 to 100 grand from one webinar, like in a day, right? And so I was like, you know, promotion goes out, we email everyone, we share on social media, people get registered, they're excited. We do this big webinar, it goes on for like, I don't know, 3, maybe 4 hours or something crazy. And at the end, we get 120 applications. That offer produced 120 sales at $10,000 each. Yep. If you're trying to do the math, that's $1.2 million. And bearing this in mind, this was probably when I was 25, 26 years old. So nearly 9 years ago. But this was my big breakthrough. Like, whoa, one too many. Because until then, I could make money, you know, 50 grand there, 100 grand a month, whatever. But to see such a large chunk of money come from one activity, one webinar, that changed the game for me, because We did $1.2 million from that first webinar. Then we set it on autopilot on automated webinars, and that then produced over $3 million. And then obviously I had a very expensive back-end program, which was $30,000, $50,000 and beyond. So we made a lot of money. But I remember just on the front end, right? Like if you know anything about business, the money is always made on the back end. But just on the front end for this offer alone, we generated over $3 million, okay? Just selling like basically this idea of funnels. When I look back, that was probably one of the biggest aha moments of my entire career, because I realized if I can craft VSLs, video sales letters, long sales letters, maybe Google Docs, if I can come up with webinar presentations, whether they're 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, 12 hours long for a virtual 3-day seminar or a 1-day seminar, or if they're just a 90-minute webinar, or if they're a mini webinar, maybe 20-minute VSL or something. Whatever the case is, if I can get really good at this one skill of using webinars and coming up with $1 million offers, the game changes. And this is one of those foundational things about selling that it never changes. If you can, and this is the process, right? You have to identify a group of people that have irrational passion and a pain, a desire to grow, to develop, and they have the money, they have the liquid capital to invest. They're easy to reach, meaning that you don't have to go out and talk to them in person. You can just place tiny little simple ads all over the internet and get these people coming to you. And then the last one is if they are in a growing market where there's, people are coming every single year, it's growing. So for example, 10 years ago, people wanted to learn how to make money on the internet. 10 years later, that trend is still growing. If you see, Forbes comes out with, this is a $325 billion industry, online education. You hear about these companies like Teachable. This is a platform that got sold for $250 million. I mean, why? Why would another company pay $250 million for a platform that teaches course creators and course sellers? Why? Because they know that this is the future. So if you're watching this video and you get stuck doing one-on-one sales, you get stuck on thinking, man, how do I get more people to buy my stuff? One of the shifts that I would suggest that for you to consider is, how do I go from doing things one-on-one to doing things one-to-many? When I did this, it was a game changer for my webinars. When I do live events, guess what I do? It's one-to-many. I do virtual events. In my 20s, I hosted over 100 live events from all over the world. And let me share this with you. I have seen the power and the confidence and the results that comes from doing one-to-many. Now, I'm not bashing one-to-one, especially when you're first starting off. You don't have $1 million in the bank account. You haven't saved, stashed, stored $1 million cash. Do one-to-one, okay? It's still fine, but you also want to know the other side. That, hey, one-on-one is good, but it caps you, right? Because how many one-on-ones can you do in a day? Like, for example, I'll still do sales calls. Maybe I'll do 2 or 3 a day, sometimes maybe 5 or 6 a week. But I can't do 10 a day, right? Whereas if I employ a salesperson, they can do 10 sales calls a day. If I employ 10 salespeople and I get 100 booked calls a day, and each of them get 10 calls per day, that's 100 calls a day that I don't have to do. Does that make sense? So that's another topic on building sales teams. And if you want to learn about sales teams, let me know, because I built sales teams and I built one of my businesses to $1 million a month at the age of 28 by creating sales teams. So I really know a few things about that. However, one-to-many selling was the biggest game changer for me in my life. And even now, every single week, I'm always working on a campaign, on an offer, on a system, on a VSL or a sales letter or a webinar that can go out to the masses. I do the work once, but it speaks to the masses. So hopefully this video was valuable for you. Let me know if it was in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one.